How to ignore the haters and stay motivated like Khamzat Chimaev. So over the past year since we last saw Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 294, I've seen so many articles and videos going around online of people talking about Khamzat Chimaev having lost his aura and having lost his hype, but honestly I have to disagree. In the lead up to UFC 308 this week, I've seen quite a few clips going around of Khamzat Chimaev, and honestly he looks so refreshed, so happy and calm. So clearly the bad publicity and the bad news hasn't fazed him at all. So for this video, I want to break down the ways in which Khamzat Chimaev has renewed his UFC career. But first, let's be honest, I think most fans are actually excited to see Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker more than they are excited to see Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Khamzat Chimaev will always be a big draw, so regardless of what anybody is saying about his career at the moment, everybody wants to see Khamzat Chimaev in the octagon. Undoubtedly, Khamzat Chimaev has read about all the doubt there is surrounding his UFC career, but I just really want to figure out what Khamzat has done to remain so happy and positive. Literally, people are writing in the comments of these new videos that have come out, "We have a new happy Khamzat." Even some comments are saying Khamzat Chimaev is glowing. So what exactly has Khamzat done? I came across this clip recently of Khamzat, and it is true, he is definitely glowing and he is looking really happy.
Слава богу, сюда переехал, другая команда, все отлично, доктора, все фармакологи, диетологи, у меня такая команда никогда не...
I think he even has a new hairstyle unless he shows up to the octagon with a shaved head again. So enough of all that, let's get down to the ways in which Khamzat Chimaev has come back from all the setbacks he's had recently. So the first big thing has to be Khamzat's new approach to his fight camp. So for this fight camp, Khamzat Chimaev enlisted the help of Salim Nursalkanov, who was trained like Olympic wrestling gold medalist for Russia. Khamzat Chimaev made this post on Instagram and he talked about how honored he'd felt to have Salim as part of his new coaching team for his fight at UFC 308. He even mentioned that Salim has taught him some new tricks. So obviously this means that Khamzat Chimaev means business and he's ready to pull out all the stops to ensure he gets that victory over Robert Whittaker, who we know is also on his own path to regaining that UFC middleweight title. Even in the clip on UFC Countdown, Coach Salim Nursalkanov did say he was super confident that Khamzat Chimaev will win. To be honest, I think this is incredible to have someone with such huge accolades as part of your new coaching team, and honestly it makes me so excited to see what new tricks we'll see from Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 308. So just tying it all back together, I think definitely having new coaches has given Khamzat Chimaev new confidence. He's got a whole new arsenal of skills. This will have definitely renewed his confidence and given him so much more motivation, and of course give him the confidence that he needs to stay on track and ignore the haters who say he won't be middleweight champion. Like, Khamzat must be so confident right now that we will see him running to the octagon again. So speaking of new fight camp techniques, I think it was really cool to see that Khamzat Chimaev has got back to his roots and is training in the mountains of Russia as opposed to training in the UAE or anywhere else. I saw some clips of where Khamzat Chimaev is training at the beginning of the UFC Embedded episode, and honestly it looks so serene and peaceful, and of course being at such a high altitude will have cardio benefits that will prove pivotal for Khamzat Chimaev in his future fights. And then I remembered that current UFC lightweight champion and pound for pound king Islam Makhachev also trains in the mountains out in Russia, so clearly the mountains of Russia is where champions are made. I even watched the recent interview with Kevin Iole, and Khamzat Chimaev spoke about how much different it is training in the mountains as opposed to training in a hot climate like the UAE, where you are literally in front of air conditioners all the time and that can get you sick. So yes, if anyone is looking to improve their overall physical well-being, get yourselves to the mountains in Russia. So the second way that Khamzat Chimaev remains motivated is because he really remembers why he started in the first place. So I was looking at Khamzat Chimaev's Instagram recently, and one of the last things he posted was this short clip with Venom, and he talked about how his motivation was improving life for his mum. In the past, he's actually had quite a few posts on his Instagram about his mum, and I think that is just so sweet and authentic. Just thinking of that really takes me back to that ESPN MMA interview Khamzat Chimaev did around 2 years ago, and he talked about how he would sleep in the gym. I really love how honest Khamzat Chimaev was in that interview. He even talked about how lonely it would get there and how he would have nothing to do to entertain himself besides punch a bag or watch movies on his phone. I know we've all had those moments where we feel so alone and just so cooped up with our own thoughts. And now literally everybody knows who Khamzat Chimaev is, so I bet it is so hard for him to feel alone again. So at the beginning of that interview with ESPN MMA, Khamzat Chimaev talked about how he moved with his family at the age of 19 to Sweden from Chechnya, and he literally lived in a really small apartment with his family. So you can imagine how much of a big cultural change it would have been moving from Chechnya to a Western country like Sweden. So if you watch this interview, you will learn that the main motivation for Khamzat Chimaev has always been to improve life for his mum. His mum has always been his main motivating factor. That interview was like 2 years ago, and the clip with Venom was only recently in the last few days, so clearly it shows that Khamzat Chimaev has never forgotten why he started in the first place, and his mum will always be the motivation that carries him throughout his career. Even though I'm sure that Khamzat Chimaev has already achieved his goal of giving his mum and family a better life, it's incredible that it still motivates him and he still remembers why he first started. So what can we learn from that? So the next time you're feeling defeated or you feel that things aren't going your way, take a moment to step back and think and remember why you started in the first place. And then you should feel that motivation coming back to you. So the last thing has to be Khamzat Chimaev absolutely valuing his fans, which I'm sure gives him renewed motivation and confidence each time. And of course, ability to ignore any haters. Just thinking of that brings me back to this post of Khamzat's in August where he went to Paris, and again he literally had like hundreds of people lining up around the street trying to get a glimpse of him. I think there was even a red carpet out. He was there meeting all the fans, taking pictures with them, and I think it's quite similar to the reception that he got when he was out in the UK. So it's clear that Khamzat Chimaev absolutely loves his fans, he loves giving them the time of day, and it definitely gives him happiness, motivation, and again ability to ignore any haters. Undoubtedly Khamzat Chimaev is one of the biggest UFC stars of today. Like, which other UFC star do you think could get like hundreds of people lining up to see them on a random street in Paris? Even Khamzat posted this poster for a tour in Australia in August, and again it made me think, wow, Khamzat Chimaev must have so many fans. G-Day Australia, I'm coming to the land down under December 5th to 15th. Come meet and train with me and learn to smash everybody. So the fact that Khamzat Chimaev is able to pull off a tour all the way on the other side of the world in Australia just says enough. So let's be honest, no matter how much doubt people are putting on Khamzat Chimaev's UFC career, there is no doubt that people want to see Khamzat Chimaev. They want to see Khamzat Chimaev fight again and back in the octagon. I definitely think his huge personality, his attitude and aura just make him a huge draw. So yes, just looking back, I think the fact that Khamzat Chimaev does put on a lot of meet and greets, he does meet with his fans, he does many charity events, just shows that Khamzat Chimaev does really value his fans. He will always make time in his schedule to meet his fans, and I think that is definitely a major thing in his life that gives him renewed motivation and confidence. So I think for sure the support that Khamzat Chimaev gets from his fans helps him to remain positive, helps him to perform his best, and ultimately reminds him to have fun. I know there's plenty more things we could say about Khamzat Chimaev. Again, he has great aura, great personality, and really great determination. But I just really admire how open and honest he is. And of course, there are probably so many other ways that Khamzat Chimaev has changed his approach this time to ensure he's in good health and to ensure he has the best training camp. But of course, we know many fighters do keep secrets for their training camps. So let me know your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. Please don't forget to share and like this video and subscribe to my channel.